This meeting is being recorded. Got it.
Yeah,
Okay.
welcome to another episode of Whiskey Sour Libations and Conversations. I'm your host, Dom, and I have a very special guest this week. I say that every week. Everybody's special to me.
Yeah.
So it's my boy. Y'all can call him Brandon by his government name. I'm calling him B, because that's what I know you as. B Dims. That's all I know.
Hey,
And
that's it.
And I finally met you in real life because we've been social media friends for years. I met you in real life. It was like a year and a half ago, 2 years ago.
I feel like I met you before that, to be honest.
Oh,
Yeah.
charge it to my head and not my heart, because
Okay.
okay. So it probably was out. So who knows what I was under the influence of? Might have been a little coke. A little. I'm totally joking. I've never done coke in my life. So
Same.
yeah. Some things I just don't want to dabble in. So
I feel it. Coke is an interesting drug, so I hear.
Yeah, so I hear, because and I just don't want to know.
Yeah, I don't want no parts of that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel like I met you. I feel like I met you a while ago, like a minute ago.
Did I have hair or was I bald head? I feel like I probably had hair then.
I feel. Oh, I don't remember.
Yeah. See,
I feel like you had hair.
Yeah, that was a long time ago.
Yeah, I feel like you had hair. Yeah.
I've been a bald head scallywag for a long time now. So,
Okay.
But what was interesting about this meeting is y'all, it was such a wild, crazy night, which will lead us to one of the topics of today, talking about your cannabis business. Y'all, this nigga gave me an edible. Now, I don't know if it was you or if it was Kay.
If it was probably me, because he doesn't do that.
So I get past the yes. So maybe that's what it was. And we were at Toca Madera here, enjoying the night, having a good time. And all of a sudden, this edible just hits me on a completely different level. And when I tell y'all, I could feel my veins, like the weed in my veins. It was just like, it was a very euphoric experience. But I was like, what, so what was in that edible? Because I'm like tripping, but it was a whole vibe. I had never been high like that. So you got some good stuff. And I moving to LA, I did not smoke. I did not indulge in things of the cannabis world, the weed world, until I moved here. So I'm still kind of like new, but yeah, I've been doing it for a minute and I've never experienced anything like that in my life. And it was fucking amazing.
So my business partner, he has a nice little concoction.
Okay.
And it's a little heavier than the typical shit you get from the dispensaries.
Okay.
So yeah, that's the friends and family pack that you probably had.
Okay.
So it's a little higher than the average. Yeah.
But where I can feel it in my veins?
Yeah, it was probably like 50 milligrams. Either. Yeah, well, it definitely wasn't 50. So it was probably like 25.
Okay. 25. Yeah, because normally in the dispenser you get like 10.
Yeah, you can only legally do 10. So that one was probably 25.
Oh.
To where it's just a different vibe.
Okay. Because all I know is that we was eating where we were and then we left and then went to the nice guy and we was eating again. And I'm like, how do we even have room for this?
Yes.
That's how fucking how we were. And then I was like, can we get the cookie?
Oh yeah, those soft ass
milky cookies, man. That shit is so fire.
Yeah.
Oh my God, it was so good. That was see, those are the nights that I live for in LA because it's just random. The random nights are the best nights out here. Stuff a lot of times planned is always kind of like I'm not gonna say that it's not fun, but it's just I always feel like there's like a little bit of a tussle, whether it be something with like a venue and trying to get everybody in and just I like stuff like that where it's just like hella random, dope, and
Yes.
we having a good time.
Yes. Those are the
Yes.
best nights. Absolutely.
So
Yes. Yes.
so you're in the cannabis business. How did you get your start? And tell us about your brand and everything. So the people can support.
Okay. Um, how did I start? Long story short, probably in 2000, like 13 or 12.
Hmm.
I had a buddy that started his brand downtown LA.
Okay.
Um, and I was wanting to invest in it, and he kept turning me down. Like,
Okay.
no, we don't need any money. No, we don't need any money. Um, so it probably went for about a year, maybe year and a half. And I watched him grow like a no-name business to like a 5 million a year business.
Okay.
And I was like, yo, like, I need to invest some kind of way. So eventually, after I kept harassing him, he finally let me invest.
Okay.
Like a 25K investment, wasn't nothing too crazy. But the terms were crazy. Uh,
Okay.
and that's where I got hooked, because it was like I'm still getting paid from it to this day. So
Wow.
it was one of those, like in business, you don't get these type of terms. And I know a little bit about business.
Well,
So I
are
was like,
you? Did you sign an NDA? Can you tell us about the terms a little bit, or because?
did we? No, nah, we didn't sign it. So I mean, it was 25K investment, 7K
Okay.
a month,
Okay.
and it's like indefinitely. So uh yeah, that, I mean, that's the term. And I was like, yo, are you sure? Like typically, 24 months, whatever the case may be, you make your money back, and then a little, profit. But this was like I was profiting like the fourth month, and that was, I don't know, 6, 7 years ago. So
Damn.
so that kind of made me like, yo, like these people don't really know business. Like they might know weed, but they don't
I
know
know
business.
business.
And then that made me start my company, Westbrook,
Okay.
which is a full consulting business. Because at that time, it was kind of a sexy business still, but it wasn't as sexy. So
You sound like
I,
Puffy right now. It was
do I?
sexy. You sound like Puff
I mean,
Daddy.
it's one of, yeah. I mean, my bad. It's a sexy business.
Yeah.
It was popular, blah blah blah. So I started Westbrook for people. It was more so for like um, athletes, entertainers, people that got money. They want to get in. They don't know what they're doing. Yada yada yada.
Hmm.
And that's kind of how I started Westbrook, and then did a whole bunch of crap, investing with other companies and a whole bunch of crap throughout the years. And my current thing is All Day Ace, which is a brand. I was always um, more so wholesale. I like wholesale because it's a lot easier.
Hmm.
So now dipping into the fully integrated side, meaning wholesale, retail, from seed to sale, yada yada yada. That's kind of where the industry is now. So you pretty much have to have a brand to
Okay.
to to sustain. And so yeah, that's where I'm at now.
So when you do wholesale, was it like how? Oh, I was it still your brand, or it was just like you had to grow or farm somewhere,
Yeah,
and then you were like selling? Okay.
yeah. So I have a couple grows in IE and in Colorado and
Okay.
the Valley. And what we would do is, hello, you hear me?
Yep. There you go. There's your sound. I'm like, oh.
Sorry. Uh, we would sell that to other brands, and then they
Okay.
would package that and put it in dispensaries,
Okay.
stuff like that. So we were like behind the scenes, and I like that a lot. So yeah, that's what I meant by wholesale.
Okay. Oh, that's
Yeah.
kind of dope. That's dope.
So yeah,
So
now we're doing retail crap, and it's interesting.
people don't understand the headache that even comes with retail. And
Yeah,
I used to say I didn't sell cannabis, but I was
it's
selling luxury products. So
all
I'm
the
like,
same.
oh, yeah,
It's all, no matter what industry, being in retail and wholesale is two totally different. In
yep,
retail, you have to be like on it. Like
mm-hmm,
wholesale, you don't have to sell anything. It's
yeah,
they already know what they want. They're
yep,
buying. They're consistent. But retail is like boom, 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 marketing, branding,
yep.
this, that, blah, PR, blah, blah, all that bullshit. But yeah, so here we are. Here we are.
No, that's really dope. So segueing into retail, have you guys like had like brand ambassadors and like how have you guys gotten your product out there more?
So my partner Andrew, he's long story short, he's Young Jeezy's business partner,
The
and
snowman?
yeah, yeah, yeah. And so
Young Jeezy when he was black.
so
Don't tell
so between his connections with Jeezy and
him. Hmm.
all the shit that comes with that, and my connection to the cannabis, it just we just kind of I mean it's kind of weird, it just kind of happened.
Okay.
Um, and so now we're kind of doing the whole rap thing. We have a lot of rappers and uh I don't know, Ayo Teo, Jacquees, the baby,
Ooh-wee.
yeah, all these guys. So that's kind of our
That's
lane,
dope.
that little down south pocket, because they don't get the Cali experience,
Okay.
unless they live out here or
Yeah.
visit. But there's not dispensaries on every corner, and it's
Well,
not
down
stuff,
south, it's still not legal. I feel like they were saying
not
that they,
recreational.
yeah, okay.
Yeah. It's some parts it's medicinal,
Okay.
but it's just a headache. I mean, even in Missouri, it's a headache. That's
Yeah.
why I would never do business there. Um, but
Yeah.
yeah, so that's kind of our model is using our connections in these rappers and athletes, and just pushing it.
Okay.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Yeah.
That's dope.
We got a store. We're in Hot Rod in LA. I think it's off Melrose, Hot Rod store.
Okay.
So our merch and all that stuff is out that way. Um, and dispensary wise, we're in MMD, which is
Okay.
I think they have like 8 stores, some in the Valley, Hollywood. I think, yeah, something like that. So yeah. So
That's
yeah.
dope.
So it's the branding part is newer, the weed part is old, and just trying to be vertically integrated, meaning just everything, like I said. So yeah, it's
I'm like,
cool.
hey, put me in the shoot. I'll roll a blunt in the pool.
We got you. Yeah, we.
I'm like,
Oh
actually,
yeah.
no, I won't. I'm not. I am trying to become a better blunt roller, but at this point, I'm just grinding it up, and I might put it in a bowl or like some papers and spin the top, like the top. I'm trying to be black, okay? Like, I feel
I
like
don't know
there's
how to roll at all. Like
really
I'm
okay,
not like I'm not like that guy. Like
okay.
give me a gummy, edible, a weed coke or whatever, and I'll drink it, eat it. But the rolling and the
Snorted because I think I heard you
passing,
say Coke.
yeah, Coca Cola, not Coke.
I'm like, oh, snort. I'm so
No,
confused.
no, no, no. Negative, negative.
Um, I'm like, whoa, that was a complete 180 from what we just said earlier.
So
um,
yeah, that's yeah. I'm not even a big smoker, to be honest, at all.
okay.
I'm a lazy weed guy. I just want to eat it.
Man, but I just feel like sometimes, like with the
Sometimes, yeah, every blue
so,
moon.
sometimes I feel like when I need the edible to kick in, it don't kick in when I need like
Right,
right away. I'm like, okay, so that's why sometimes I prefer to smoke because I was like, okay, I can get this high. I know how long it's probably gonna last, and I can
right,
control it better. But an
right.
edible, you could be 2 hours later and you're like, dang, I don't feel it. And then hour 3 it kick in. It's like, this is not the time. Because that shit happened to me in St. Louis. Last time I was there, which was like almost like a year and a half ago.
Mm-hmm.
And my mom had surgery right before lockdown. And so I'm sleeping on the couch. So in case she needs something in the middle of the night, I am accessible to her.
Right.
And she starts screaming in the middle, like it's the middle of the night and she is screaming. So she's clearly having a nightmare.
Okay.
And so I'm like scared out of my mind. My heart is like beating really, really fast. And now I'm anxious. And I'm like, okay, I just need to relax. I'm about to eat this whole edible. This should kick in really fast because I know who gave it to me. And like you said, like you might have something that you know is higher.
Right.
And man, when I tell you that shit did not kick in,
Dang.
and it kicked in like hours later, but I'm sitting at breakfast with my dad. And I just feel
the next day.
It was still middle. So this happened probably like at 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning. We had to go meet our dad for breakfast like around 7:30.
Okay.
So it wasn't like it was super, super later, but I was just like, damn, I ate a whole, and normally this gummy, I can just take a piece of it and I'll be high.
Right.
I ate the whole thing, so I should be high. Man, I'm sitting at a table, I'm like this. And I'm looking at Janelle, I was like, can you tell that I'm high? And she was like, what? I'm like, girl, I don't want daddy looking at me crazy. Can he tell that I'm high? Can you? And that's so now I'm paranoid, but it's a picture. I'm like this in the picture. Trying to keep it together, but man, I was high. Wrong time.
I don't have too many, surprisingly, I don't have too many crazy high stories. I think just maybe at 2, the rest are just pretty normal, but
give us a crazy high story, because I feel like I have a lot of high stories.
Let's see. The first
give us a good one. Give and make sure they good.
Well, this was like when I first moved to LA.
Okay.
So how did that start? So I had a girlfriend at the time.
Okay.
We were getting into it. The day of, we were not really speaking. She wasn't feeling good, whatever. So she was like sleep all day, all night. My other homegirl hits me at like midnight or something. It was kind of late, 11 maybe. She was like, yo, let's go to this mansion party. It's by you. And I was like, I bet. So I go, and there was niggas in the kitchen baking like weed cookies. And back then I was a little more buffer, and the guy was like, hey, big dude, big dog, or something like that. Just have a little bit. And I was like, this ain't nothing. So he gave me the cookie once it was done baking. I'll never forget. It was warm, fresh. It was fire. I took like a big bite. I was already hungry. And it was damn near immediate, like 5 minutes. Like it went from like 0 to 100
real quick.
Like, I mean, this is like at some nigga's house. Don't know. My homegirl knows these people. I don't know them. She had a bite too. It had to be within 5-10 minutes. Like,
damn.
And they took us to a guest bedroom, and we slept there for, I don't know, I think we woke up the next day like around 3 p.m. Like it was like that. Like it was like an all day or all night type sleep. And I think that was my last baked edible. And the issue with baked edibles, and a lot of people have those, a lot of people have those issues with baked edibles, just because you don't really know the amount of weed that's in it. You know what I mean? Like it could be 5 grams in this little piece up here, and it'll be like 100. It's hard to distribute,
Yeah, I had a
especially.
cookie that had like 1,000,
Yeah,
but it was literally, it was like only take a little bit. And so I'm like, okay, cool.
right.
So yeah, it's been times I've been like you and I've been high for 24 hours and I was like, damn,
Yeah,
that piece was not that big. How much was in there?
yeah.
And I would
And
be
you
at,
don't. And again, you don't know, especially like if it's black market or you making it at home. The homies, they don't really know. And
yeah.
so if hold on. But yeah, that was one. The other one was when I lived in
So wait,
North
what's your
Hollywood.
girlfriend say? Cause she was like, you haven't been
Oh,
home.
so
Cause I'm like,
so so I come back home the next day. She was knocked out. So I don't know if she was still asleep. I don't know if she just wasn't speaking on it. I wasn't speaking on nothing. I just came back to the crib at the time and just kept on going
Oh
with
my
my
gosh.
day. But yeah, that was like in 2000, like 8, maybe 9.
Okay.
So yeah, that was a minute ago. Um, yeah, but the other one, I ran from like North Hollywood to the Hollywood 24-hour fitness. Like it gave me like it was like on some like Coke energy drink type shit. I had to like get rid of this energy. And my guy was like, "Yo, let's jog to 24-hour fitness." I was like, "Bet." I'm thinking, there's a one by, and this was before the one in NoHo was built. So I didn't know what I thought it was going, a mile or two or whatever. But that was like, I mean, we was jogging down the 101. We was on Cahuenga, and
Oh,
it was like a daze. Like I was like, this is weird, but like I can't stop. Like it was weird. And then got to 24-hour fitness, and then we did like another hour and a half, 2-hour workout. Like that was
did,
an interesting
did,
one.
so I just want to
Yeah,
explain to the listeners and the viewers that distance
yeah,
from North Hollywood, because North Hollywood low key is hella, I'm close to it, but when you really
right.
think about the 101 and all this stuff, it's not like it's
Yep,
Hollywood right here and then it's North
yep,
Hollywood right here.
yep,
It's like Universal City, like
yep,
all these other, like Burbank in between.
yep.
So I am.
Yeah, that
So
was
how you
interesting.
get home? Did you like?
So we ran back. We didn't have like it was a lot. It was like a 5-hour, 6-hour mission, and this was from smoking
Yeah, see,
because and I was talking shit because smoking.
so you must have had like some sort of like sativa hybrid. I don't
I don't know
fucking
what
know.
it was. Like it
That
was
sound
to
like
this
that
day
was laced
I've
with
never
coke and something else,
it
angel dust.
it I don't know. And again, at that time, I didn't know nothing about weed. All I knew was when I would smoke, I'd be high for like 15 minutes, and I had to smoke again. So I was talking shit like, I haven't had this Cali weed experience that y'all talk about so much. And then he was
Yeah.
like, "Bet," and I got like, well funny. That it actually came from my homegirl. That's a porn star. It came from her, who was also my neighbor. And she gave it to him, and he gave it to me.
You know
So
that shit was laced.
I it had something, something was in there.
I will never forget the very first time I got high out here. I remember my best friend Vernon in St. Louis trying to get me high.
Mhm.
And whatever it was, like the papers was like, it tastes like grape. So I was like, oh, this is disgusting. Like I hate
Oh, damn.
grape flavored shit. And
Uh-huh.
so I'm out here and it's my homegirl Deanna. And we're going, do you remember Colony? No, or was
No,
it
yeah,
no, it wasn't Colony
on
though.
Cahuenga.
No, it was the club that was on Ivar. It's what it's the Jardine now, but it was something else. And I think it was like At one point it was called the Green Door, and
I
then they
remember Green
changed,
Door.
and then they changed this to something else, and now it's
Yeah.
Les Jardins now.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
whatever the club is in between it being
Oh, the
called what,
outdoor joint.
yeah.
That's where they used to have Toxic at back in the day.
Yeah, it was
You talking
Toxic,
about
but
that one?
yes, that place.
Okay. But it
So,
used
but
to
it was
be
but Toxic was just the
Cabana.
name of the day. Yes, Cabana. So that's what
Yeah,
it was, Cabana Club.
Cabana. That's funny.
Man. So at this point, I'm living in Beverly Hills. So
Hmm.
we're not super far from Hollywood. So
Right.
she convinces me to smoke. And I'm like, fuck, like I've never done this before. And we're about to go out. I would prefer to be at home.
Right.
Yo, when I tell you, it just felt like somebody was. So imagine how I said, yo, I could feel it in my veins.
Right.
I could feel this in my head, but only right here. And it felt like somebody was just
Mm.
like slowly massaging, like, but
Ooh.
on the inside. And I'm like, yo,
Mm.
like, I kind of like this, but
Right.
now I'm kind of sleepy, but I don't want to look like I'm just slow or like stuck
Right.
somewhere. But and it lasted for a while. And we like smoked in the club, all of that. I'm like, okay, I think I can do this. But that was the first time I got like officially high. And I was like, if it's gonna feel like this,
What
I like this.
what year was that?
Oh, I moved out here in 2010.
Oh, okay.
So it was about, yeah, 2010, the first time I ever got high for real.
Okay.
So
So
that what
I was gonna ask you, what's your thoughts now that you've kind of dabbled in it um more versus alcohol, like when it comes to socializing and events and partying and whatever.
Even I would still say that in social settings, for the most part, I would still probably drink,
Mhm.
because depending on, I feel like no matter if I smoke, I can only hit like a blunt like twice, because
Okay.
anything past that, I'm like, yo, I'm going to bed. So in order for me to function, that's how I know I can control it. Sometimes with edibles, like you said, especially if it's a baked good, it gets complicated.
Right.
But I remember one time we ate some gummies, and it kicked in like super super fast, and I'm like, yo, like I didn't expect it to hit like you said, like it was like 15
Right.
minutes. Nigga, we was watching Mario's braid my hair video. I don't know how we got there, but when I tell you, I was like, did somebody start this over? Why is this still playing? Because it seemed like this long like period in time.
Right.
But I remember one time I went out, even I think it was like with Leah, and we ate an edible in the car. We got
Mm.
to the club, it hadn't hit us, and then we smoked.
Hmm.
And then I was just like, oh my God, I am like, I could not come down. It was like, no matter how hard I tried, I did not want to be high anymore. All I know is I woke up, somehow I ordered pizza. I had
Right.
a like an empty pizza box. And I'm like, what happened? How did I get this? But yeah, but like, no, I mean, so I feel like socially, if I'm in a social setting, like I would
Still drinking more?
prefer, I'm gonna still drink a little bit, because I can
Yeah.
control that a little better
Yeah.
now. Because if next thing you know, I'm asleep. I'm gonna be asleep. I'm like,
Right.
all right, y'all, I'm out. But I don't like to drive high. I am very paranoid
Uh,
driving high.
you're one of those. I love it.
Don't love it.
I
I
love
don't
it.
love it. And
I love it.
it was one time I was downtown, and I got mad high, and I drove, and because I
Mhm.
had worked an event, and then I don't live far. I literally live 7 minutes away from downtown.
Okay.
I took the long way because I was afraid to get on the highway because of how high I was. I didn't want nobody to think that I was swerving. So I like rolled down all the windows in my car,
Right.
turned the music up, had the air on blasting. So, because I felt like I was going to fall asleep, and
Right.
I'm trying to get home, and I took the longest way to get home. And I was just like, oh my God, like somebody please come save me. But it was just a mess.
Okay.
And I won't
Okay.
tell you what happened to me on the plane. So I feel like edibles and planes don't go together at all.
Planes are. I don't do THC. I'll do CBD edibles on planes.
Okay.
Uh,
So can you explain to us
uh,
the difference? Why? Because you probably know what I experienced that time I did THC on the plane. And I
explain the
smoked.
difference between.
Yeah. Explain the
Um,
difference for the people in case somebody doesn't know the difference between THC, CBD,
well,
and yeah.
legal CBD is 0.003
Okay.
THC. So
Okay.
it's very, 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 very low dosage. So CBD is pretty much the medicinal part of weed.
Okay.
So when people have epilepsies and seizures and whatever the case may be, um, that's what the weed or CBD treats. So you get that without the high part.
Okay.
Um, so I mean, you definitely still feel a certain type of buzz, but it's not like THC.
Okay. Okay.
Um, so yeah, that's pretty much the difference. And to be honest, I don't know why I feel weird with THC on the airplane. Um, but it took maybe one time where I did a gummy, and I'm not really a big fan of flying anyway.
Oh
Which
shit.
that's a whole nother story.
So why are you why don't you like flying?
I I don't understand why we don't ever know the pilot's name. Like
What?
it's like a secret. Like we give all this information to whoever. We're sitting by strangers. We don't like. There's more information on Uber than a fucking airplane. And we greet them and take pics after the flight. But like, nah, I need to like what happened? What you do last night? See his IG. Like, there's nothing. And I don't. And I just found this out too. I just flew back from Colorado on Saturday.
Hmm.
So you know when they tell you to like duck your head and do that,
I ain't never
like
had to do that, but okay.
when in case the
Oh
plane
yeah,
goes
yeah,
down,
yeah. Okay.
I just found that out that they tell you that so you snap your neck quickly and die, and that's a fact. That ain't like to help you or if you cry, this so you kill yourself quick without yeah. And I was just like,
Why did I ask you this?
that's what I'm saying. Like
No,
flying is
great.
like
Now,
they
do
need
you
to.
know like my anxiety levels, like especially in this past year, like for the first like 7 months of the pandemic, when I tell you I was going in the office still. So I would every day
Okay.
I would come home, I would get high.
Yeah.
And I would just go to bed. And I'm like, okay, still in this shit. All right, here we
Yep.
go again.
Yep.
Thanks. Great.
So
Great.
I just found that out. Just found that out. So yeah, my fly it typically I don't really have like a big issue with it, but it's just that turbulence. I don't really rock with it. I don't rock with the nonchalantness of the whoever's on the speaker. It's I feel like I'm being played. I think that's a lot of it. I feel like I'm being played.
But I feel like I've had like the captains come on and they introduce themselves like before we taking off
Yeah, but I
because
mean, it's like at that point, what I'm gonna do? Like run off the plane? It's like it's too late. Like I'm
so
already
you
committed.
feel like when you book the ticket or that day of,
Yep.
you should get an email with this person's name, birthday, IG, social
I won't go that
security.
far. I'll say this. I feel like I should be able to pick like I should see like a list of like 3 pilots or whatever. This
Okay.
dude, he's been flying for 2 years. Like, nah, I'm good. This nigga been flying for 40 years. Let me jump on his plane.
Lord.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, nothing. We don't know shit. Like, I could text my Uber driver. I could text my DoorDash man. Like, yo, where you at? What's your name? What car you driving? What's your license plate? And I get all the information But a nigga flying me to Dubai, I don't know who the fuck he is until we touch down. I'm like, nah, I feel like I'm played. I'm being played.
I
There's a
never
lot
thought
of little
about it.
things.
No, I never thought about it like that. But now, okay, so
It's in airplanes. I'm a borderline germaphobe, and their planes are dirty as fuck.
yeah.
That's enough. It's like, ugh, ugh.
So you don't wipe your seat down or anything, or have travel
I mean,
Lysol?
I just started, or I'll ask if they have anything to wipe it down. But a lot of times I forget.
Oh
A
no,
lot of times I forget to wipe it down, and so it's just like, fuck.
no. I have wipes in my bag. You know, like my
Okay.
backpack, because I always travel with my backpack, and so
Hmm.
I have it even from like the last time I flew somewhere. In the plastic baggie still is Ziploc bag with some wipes, and I wipe all that shit down. I'm trying to find some travel Lysol so I can spray
Yeah.
the seatbelt because
And
that's the
that's the
one
other
part.
thing. Like, why don't they just go through? It takes 10 minutes. Go through, get an industrial little sanitizer, spray the plane. Like, I would feel like if I saw that too while I'm booking ticket. Like, yo, we spray every ride. Bet I'm booking with this
At
one.
the point, like I feel like it's kind of at the point where they could even have something like, you know how they say it cycles the air, like
Yeah.
it's all this new air that
Yep.
comes through. Maybe like then when we get off or before, like you said, 10 minutes is Lysol.
Something. Yeah.
Like where it just comes up where they don't even have to go through with the cans. It just is like
Just come.
shh.
Yeah, like a little
Yeah.
mist.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I feel in 2021, I feel like there's so many little things that I just don't get with airplanes, airlines, and also my dad he retired from TWA,
Oh
so
wow.
I've been
Throwback.
flying a lot. I've done all that shit. So I it's a little it's personal.
Lord, that is hilarious. That
But
is
yeah,
freaking
that's
hilarious.
my airplane theories.
So why don't you why don't you prefer to do THC as opposed to CBD on a plane? So what was your
The
experience
last
like? And
the
then I'll
last
tell
time
you
I
mine.
the last time I did a gummy, and again, I don't know if it happened because of the gummy, but I definitely felt, and I've never, and again, this is just me guessing, I've never had a panic attack or like crazy anxiety, but I think when I took that gummy on that plane, that flight, like I was sweating out of nowhere. I felt nauseous. I was seeing stars. And I was like, "Yo, I'm about to throw up for real. Like, are you
Mm-hmm.
like you serious?" And like, it was, and I think it was during the time. I think it was a little bit of turbulence, so nobody was really walking around. I was sitting in the middle between two
Yep.
people.
Yep.
Um, man, it was just like this is too much. Like, I'm too grown to be throwing up. I think this was last year. Yeah, this was last year. Yeah, last year. I was
Dog.
like, I'm not about to throw up on this flight. Like, fuck that. And
So
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 like I really was just like I put on I put on some Kirk Franklin. I was like, "Yo, we about to get through this. Little melody from
Lord.
heaven
Oh my
and
gosh.
push through."
No, so that 1,000 milligram cookie,
Hmm.
I took it to St. Louis with me. I put it in my backpack.
Hmm.
And when I sat down in the plane, I was just tired. I was exhausted. And I was like, okay, direct flight, this little piece. And mind you, I had crumbs.
Right.
Like I didn't want to get too big of a piece, but I had a few crumbs. And so I was like, oh, this should knock me out for like the 3.5 hours.
Hmm.
I don't know what the fuck happened over the Rocky Mountains,
Hmm.
but something happened there and it woke me up. And like you said,
The Rockies is different.
I was sweating.
Hmm.
I was super nauseous.
Yep.
I'm in the middle seat.
Yep.
And it's also winter. So I have a coat. because I'm going to St. Louis for the holidays.
Right.
And so I'm like, oh my gosh, like, what? Maybe I should try to eat something. All I had was some chips.
Okay.
I ate the chips, and it felt like an alien was inside my stomach.
Mm.
And it just felt like, and I felt like it was loud and people could hear it. And I'm like, oh my gosh. So I try to, I, I take the tray table down.
Mm-hmm.
I take my coat off. I open the vent, and I swear, like the person, they had their window open, and it's dark, but I swear I saw something on their plane.
Mm.
And I was like, oh my gosh. And so I'm trying to like, and I'm like, literally, I'm having an anxiety attack. I'm like, just trying to breathe. I'm like, oh, it's hot. And I'm like, oh my God, I think I'm gonna throw up. But I'm like, air. So I like turn my face toward the vent, and so I can get the air. And I'm just like, Lord, please. I was like, Lord, please, just let me make it. Oh, I've seen what you have done for others. Just like, please, I will never take another edible on this flight ever again. I just want to live. I just want to live. And I was freaking out. And the people like next to me knew. They knew I was freaking out.
Mm.
And I was like, please don't call the stewardess. Like, please don't have them come over here, because I do not want to be the reason that we have to make an emergency landing in fucking Colorado. And they like, what did you take? And I'm like, I did some edibles. I took some weed. Yeah. But I don't know what it is. It's something with the elevation. I don't know, but
yeah.
Because you remember that happened to Dion Waiters. And he took an edible, and they had to make that emergency landing.
Again, this is me guessing, and at the same time, I've definitely done edibles multiple times.
Yeah.
On planes. So I don't know if it was that particular time. I don't know if we flew over something that was weird. I do know the Rockies is weird. I fly to Colorado like every 4 to 6 weeks, so it's those flights are weird. Like they get like, yeah, I've said like on some like, yo, I'm about to go. Like this is my last flight. Like it's been some real ones. So I don't know if it was again because of the Rockies. I don't know.
Yeah, probably at the altitude, the air that comes over, and that makes it, because it's always kind of just a little turbulent.
Yeah, Vegas too. Vegas, even though it's a quick flight, you catch Vegas on the wrong day.
Well, yeah, the wind, because it's like Arizona, they be having them dust storms and that wind pick up. And people be dying in that shit on the road. Like they don't pull over.
Yep.
Man.
So yeah, I just stick with CBD now, and I got some. I gave our friend Chanel a high CBD gummy maybe about a month ago or so, like 50 milligrams. I forgot to follow up with her, but she's a G though, so I'm pretty sure they need.
Yeah, she probably didn't really. No, because I have one. Some like CBD gummies in here, and I was just like, and I took one like this one morning, and I had worked from home, and I was like, dog, this is not CBD. I'm like, this can't be. It was all day. It was, and it's only, I feel like it was, like you said, it's supposed to be like 10, and I didn't buy this. I have a different supply,
right?
But I'm like, I keep meaning to ask him. I'm like, yo, I don't think this is CBD. I think this is in the wrong packaging, because I took that gummy at probably 8:00. I was high until 7.
Damn.
So, I mean, luckily, like, I didn't have to drive anywhere after I got done with work, but I was just like, oh my gosh, this is ridiculous. I mean, like I said, I enjoyed it, but I just, how, like I said, damn, like I didn't plan on being this high today.
Wait, hold on, time out. Whoa, is there enough lighting in here?
I mean, you're going in and out, but it's fine.
Am I? Okay.
Yeah, but because it like, as you move, it kind of like fades in and out. But stop moving. See, you see, but did you see it? Because it like when you move back.
Because the sun is like back there. I wonder if I should turn around.
At this point, it
don't matter. But yeah, CBD's the right ones will get you get you lit. So
Yeah.
even I take breaks monthly, like a week and a half every month. I won't do any THC,
Okay.
but I'll do CBD in that week and a half. And some of those, some of the CBD shit I get is so fire to where it's like I don't even need the THC.
Damn.
Yeah. Yeah.
Damn. So what do you think about, like you talk about branding, and now we're talking about athletes.
Mm-hmm.
And now we're recognizing like mental health in sports and all of that. So what is your take? Because you have so many people investing in different businesses or starting their own lines of cannabis. So we just saw what happened with Sha'Carri when it came down to the Olympics. And then on the flip side of that, you had like those two or three white girls speaking at the Olympics about the great attributes that CBD has to your body and your mental state. So can you give us kind of like your thoughts on that?
And another reason, the bigger reason, to go back to your couple questions ago, once and I'll get to your question now. So once I invested into that company, it's called Presidential RX, which is still everywhere and it's huge. It's actually bigger than my company now, but thank God I'm still invested. But
okay.
Once I invested into that company, my guy Everett, who's part owner, would give me pre-rolls.
Okay.
And I would never smoke them. I was never a weed head. I was never that guy. So when he would give them to me, I would just give them out to the homies. So one day I had like a crazy, probably was my first migraine ever. And like nothing was working, water wasn't working, the lights was off. Like I'd never had this before. And so I had all these pre-rolls sitting on my dresser. I smoked it in like 5 minutes, headache was gone.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh. So I was like, okay. So that's when I was like, let me get serious about what I'm about to do. Because if this is supposedly helping people and yada, 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 and I just did this little puff and my headache's gone, that must mean in other instances it may help or suppress pain or whatever the case may be. So at the time too, I was working out a little heavier. And so then I started like smoking after my workouts, just to kind of like relieve the pain or the tension or whatever the case may be. And then fast forward a couple years, my god sister's daughter, she was having like 30 seizures a day.
Damn.
Like that. And I was like, and she lives in Florida now in Atlanta. But I was like, let me send you some shit. So I sent her some stuff. And it went from like 30, 40 a day to like 5 or 6 a day.
Dang.
And then that's when I started doing a little more research. I started experimenting more. I started reaching out to friends and family who had issues. At the time, my dad, he passed in 2019, but at the time he was going. I don't even know what you call it. To be honest, I forgot what you call it, but he got something from Vietnam. So long story short, is
PTSD or
no? It's called Agent Orange.
oh
So back in
yes,
they sprayed the forest with this chemical.
yes,
The chemical lies dormant
in
in
your
your
body,
shit
yeah.
for like 40 years, and
Mm-hmm.
then later it just like kills all your organs.
Yep.
So that was happening as well. That was the beginning stages of that, and I was like, "Yo, let me give him some stuff too." I was giving him oils, like he wasn't like smoking or doing gummies, and it was helping on him. So I was just like experimenting with people I know. So to fast forward to your question now, regarding athletes, the irony of, and I'm trying not to go on a long tangent about weed, because it's the reason why it's illegal is just it's racist. It's racist. It's a racism thing.
Yeah.
So that's how it all started. It was some BS. So ever
And
since
you
then,
mean, and for people that don't know or had not followed up, it was a white man back in like what was it, like the
20s or something, 10,
yes,
teens,
and
something.
he just pretty much said that marijuana made white women want to sleep with black men or something of the sorts,
Yeah,
like that.
something like that.
Yes.
And of course, white men are inferior to us. Blah 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 blah. We know
Right.
that they
Yep.
banned it, and they've been on a 100-year run of putting us in jail for it. Now they're making billions off of it. So so with athletes not being able to, or being frowned upon using it, and it's literally, you've heard it before, it's a plant, but it does help your body. It does help heal a lot of things. It does help suppress a lot of things, even as little as anxiety.
Yeah.
These athletes are playing in front of hundreds of thousands, millions of people. I'm sure that causes anxiety.
Yeah.
They're beating up their body. They, football play, all these things, that the shit that happens to your body. And a lot of them, the way they would like heal it is by drinking, which we all know alcohol is poison.
Yeah.
So it's like there's no, like, real, until recently, no alternative legally, because they've all been smoking and doing it for anyway. So it's kind of ridiculous for it to be frowned upon. But again, those same people that are making the rules for the Olympics and NBA, their homies are making billions in Cali, like legit. Like I've seen it, I've been there, like I know these guys. Like they literally making some crazy money, but in the same breath, telling athletes and whoever, you can't use it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think it's pretty silly. I think like anything else, and they're doing a better job with the information and researching and yada yada yada. But the whole premise and basis of weed is just bullshit. So at this point, it shouldn't take this long for it to be legalized. And
Right.
it's just, I mean, at the end of the day, it's a bunch of BS, which we all know. And at the end of the day, the only reason why they're in it is because it's making a lot of people money. And
Because
if
black people are still like only like a small percentage, it's like three or five
that use it.
No, that are business owners, like that are invested in the
Black
cannabis.
people.
Yeah. Has the number increased? Because I feel like the last time I checked, I think the numbers it was a very, very small percentage.
I don't really know the exact numbers.
And see, look at me doing my research, trying to connect, and then you like, I don't know them numbers.
because I don't believe them. That's why I heard 3%.
Okay.
But I'm also in these meetings with these black guys. I'm also sitting there. I'm signing these contracts. So it's hard to even, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's just guessing. People are just guessing. But yeah, there's definitely not as much blacks and browns as there should be. Like, it's ridiculous. Like, there's nothing, and especially the bigger companies. There's definitely old white men, and again, they're homies from the other industry. They tell them, "Yo, here's 10 million, start a brand," and they can do it. And I think that's where we lack. We're so used to being consumers. Like when I talk to with black, even homies, like they're questioning, like, and not just to give you a comparison, not to say that I'm better than anybody, but when my black homie started his company, I invested.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? My
I
homies,
think a
my
lot of
homies want gummies.
yeah.
You know what
No,
I
and
mean?
I think a lot of times too is that people don't understand that to see a ROI. Sometimes I think they think that a lot of times it takes like decades to see, and it's not true, especially when it comes to something like weed. I have, like I said, like I have a friend that's in the same field,
Mhm,
and it was the same thing, trying to get his people to invest. Like, y'all asking me for this stuff, okay, but if y'all invest this stuff,
mhm,
invest this amount, by this time next year, you would have got double your investment back.
mhm. Yeah,
So I think, but I don't think that we, like you said, you didn't know too much about business, but I think it's nothing that we can't research and understand,
yeah. I
and
mean, and
then you
that's,
took the time and you did the work. And I think that sometimes we want it right then and there, and that's just not how it works. It takes time.
I think with that, piggybacking on that, I think from to I'm trying to say it without sounding too harsh. I
You can
think a
be
lot of
real on here. You can
I
be
think a
real on
lot of
here.
it.
This is
I
this
think
is like the shop. Be real.
I think a lot of it's bullshit. Like
Yeah,
we smart as fuck. Like
yeah,
we smart in everything else.
yeah.
Like I mean, we glorify these drug dealers that
Mhm.
have been killing us for decades.
Mhm.
We make documentaries out of them. We wear shirts. Here's a legal way to do it and make the same money, if not more,
Mhm.
and pass some real shit down to your kid besides some dumbass cars and shoes. And it's like, yo, I want to buy a pack so I can break it down. And it's like it's there, but it's not really. I mean, I guess the way I look at it, like in 2021, there's no excuse for anything.
Yeah.
Like 20 years ago, sure, like but now to you know it's like how bad do you want something no matter what it is you're gonna figure it out or you're gonna
Yeah.
ask or you're gonna because I mean it's a legal way to get in the drug game. Like
Yeah.
that's what we've been doing. That's what we think is cool, so why not just do it? Like so I think a lot of times we just don't the and it's getting better, of course, but also business is not sexy, and
Yeah.
until probably till recently, of course. But business was never sexy. It was like the gifts and the materialistic shit that's sexy to us.
Mhm.
But again, of course, with anything, it's getting better, and I like where it's heading. But like, we should be like, man, we should be like, it shouldn't just be like a bunch of athletes and rappers in this
Mhm.
business,
Yeah.
and that's all that's in it.
Yeah.
Uh, and it's silly, but it's getting better.
Yeah. I think it's the educating part. I think we have been trying to have those conversations with
Mhm,
people and rallying together, like using your network of friends. I was just talking
mhm,
to my one of my homeboys about it because I know like a certain group of entertainers, and I think what he's doing to create a space for content, content creators and all that stuff, I think it's like unprecedented, especially for Black people. It was just like, hey,
right?
I'm tired of trying to get a seat at their table. Fuck it, I'm gonna fucking build my own table. And
That's
I
the only
think
way.
that one, yeah, and so I think that once people really take a step back and remove the materialistic aspect of it, and like, well, I want to be able to do this right now, and da 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 da. It's like,
Mhm.
I'm not gonna see. No, it's going to take a moment, but the reward is going to be even greater. So it's
Yeah,
just like, I think that people have to remove that from their thought process, and then it's just like, hey, you can keep doing this over here, or it's
right.
just like this time next year, or maybe even 2 years from now, you don't even have to deal with that job, like, because this has
Yeah,
worked for you.
yeah. It's statistically like you don't even make this type of money on the stock market.
Yeah.
So it's, you know,
And you're
or
not going, and you're not juggling with your money. It's no loss because, like we said,
I mean, I'm taking some 7-figure L's. Don't get it twisted.
so
But
I have heard that, but it's just like what, like you said, like
it's
wholesale, and I just was like, people, I'm sorry, this should be final sale. Like once the one is out the door, you
well,
can't return. Like I feel like that's strange
it's
to
it's
me.
so many different so one 6-figure L I took was our grow in Chatsworth got broken into. It was on the
Okay.
news and everything. Actually, my homie got shot. He's from St. Louis, Anthony. He got shot in his hand, um, and pretty much that was. We didn't even make it to the first harvest. Harvest meaning that's when it's time to get everything ready to sell. And I think that harvest. This was like maybe 2012, I think, and I think that harvest was like maybe I don't know. I think it was maybe like 400K we probably would have taken home or something like that, 500K, something like that. But yeah, so cops came, they pull up all the plants, and it was like okay, and so um, we we put some more security, we patched shit up. A couple days later, we was like, okay, let's start over. It is what it is, part of the game. They broke in again. So he was like, yeah, we can't, like, this is a wrap. This spot is done.
Yeah.
Um, and so you have, and again, that is part of the game. Like, you know, you have your workers um, that tell people what they do and where they work
Mm-hmm.
and, you know, what your boss drives or who comes there and all this shit. And it's typically always an inside job because and
Always.
the grow is not anything that uh, it's not marketed. You don't want to know where people, you don't want to tell people
Yeah.
where your grow is.
Right.
So for people to know where it's at and rob it, it's always typically inside job. So yeah, that I lost like 150K, which I haven't got back from him. Um, but again, it was a learning lesson. Um, and you know, you take a lot of L's. You take financially, but again, with just anything, um, and that's the other reason why a lot of Black and brown people can't get in because they don't have the um, funds. Like
Yeah.
it's easy to start a business and get it going, but to maintain it, um, that's the hard part
Yeah.
with any business. And in this industry, it's very, very expensive business. So if you know, fuck up on a grow and you can't get another one, then you just figure it out. Um,
Yeah.
so yeah, that was that. You get mites, which are little insects that eat up your plants. You'll lose a harvest on that. Ain't no coming. Well, depends. You can come back depending how bad the mites are. You can have people be like, "Yo, I'm about to buy this whole harvest." You turn other people down because this person about to buy it. When it's ready, it may not be as good as you thought it was. So now no one wants to buy it. So you're sitting on hundreds of pounds of cannabis that you have to like damn near give away for free.
Well,
So so many different
couldn't you
ways.
turn that, now that would be a way to turn that into some edibles possibly.
Well, yeah, we that definitely happens. That definitely
Okay.
happens, and
Okay.
a lot of times that's what happens um, when you have a legal company and they fuck up. They'll kind of dip in the black market or sell it to someone in the black market or whatever the case may be. There's it's all kind of depends on your network. Like if you don't have an outlet to get rid of something or to fix something or have a good grower or get distribution or whatever the case may be, then it's hard. Because a lot of people just they just think weed. They don't really think the for real aspects of it. Like it's a plant. You got to grow it. You got to have a seller. You have to know what you're doing. It's so many things that come along with it. I don't even know how we got on that, but yeah.
No, I mean, but that's with anything. It's just like we only see one part of it.
Of course.
And we never see what's happening behind the scenes.
Of course.
Because like I just started a candle business, and then people are like, well, $30 is too much for a candle. And I'm like, well, no. Tom Ford sells candles for $200.
I just saw one at Abercrombie and Fitch. What's today? Thursday?
Mm-hmm.
On Tuesday, and I almost bought it. It was like $40. And I was like,
yeah.
Not for Abercrombie.
Not for Abercrombie. I feel like it's been a long time since
else.
Yeah,
it smelled good, but
Or did it smell like Abercrombie? Or were you just
did.
It smells like Abercrombie.
It smelled good.
But I was just explaining to them, I'm like, you got to think about the supplies.
Yep.
I'm not Glade, so I don't have access to these big wholesalers where they're getting jars for probably like 50 cents.
Mm-hmm.
And then the wax, like the 100 pounds, the 45 pounds of wax that I have that I just got cost me $100. My jars cost me like $250. And then so you're thinking about things like that. And then the oils, those are not cheap. You know, those are, I have an oil, I get 2 ounces of oil and it's $10. That's expensive.
Wow.
And so I'm like, so I sell that one for $40, but I do a bigger candle. So it's just like, when you try to break it down, and then the time that goes into it, the testing that goes into creating a product, people don't think about that. So I was just like, all right, cool. If it's not for you, that's not for you. That's cool. But I know who my niche is and who I'm like.
Oh yeah.
I'm like, so people buy it. It's cool.
Yeah, people will buy whatever. It just depends on your audience too.
Yeah. I'm selling luxury. Like I come from a place where, like I said, I was selling $200 candles. I was selling shoes that were $1,500 and sometimes even more. So I know. So that's fine. If you want your Glade candle, ain't nothing wrong with it.
Right.
But I'm selling a lifestyle. Just like you are. So it's just like people have to understand what goes into it. So if you want, if this is too much for you, then go smoke your Reggie. That's fine.
Yeah, I mean I don't really haggle on a lot of stuff. It's just like price is what it is.
Yeah.
Is what it is.
Yeah, and I'm standing firm in it. So
yeah, is what it is. Is what it is. Yes. Yeah, that's some of my experiences in the weed biz.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So it's a lot. It's an interesting industry. Very interesting.
But here's the thing. You didn't give up. You said that happened like in 2012. We're in 2021.
Yeah.
And you kept pushing. And those things, that's overcoming. Like we know when it comes to business, like there are highs, there are lows.
Yep.
But it's just like you learn from it. You was like, okay, well, we tried this again here. This don't work for me. I'm not gonna keep taking these L's. We gonna regroup. Now you have to grow in Colorado. Like you said, like the IE. So it's like multiple places. So it's just like, hey, this actually ended up working out for me in the end.
Yeah,
so that's
dope.
And
it's all about, and it's really all about your team and your people too. I've definitely been with some business partners that I shouldn't have been, and I didn't know. And that whole now. With Andrew, my partner with All That Ace, he's a solid guy.
Okay.
My other partner Anthony is from St. Louis. His people I actually own the Loft, by the way. I don't know if you know him.
But they own. I think it's because the Loft not over there. I think that it's just the Marquee now.
Yeah, the Marquee and
yeah. Well, I want y'all to know this. Hey, when I come there next week and I get my chicken wings, bread them. I don't want them naked. Every time I always tell them, like, I want
Marquee?
Yes. I'm like, stop trying to sell me this naked shit. I want it breaded.
I
That's
wonder if Alec. I think. No, I don't know if he's there. Probably not. I think he was a cook at the loft. My boy's brother.
man.
But yeah,
I would go. I would
I've never
literally
even
go to
been
the
to
loft
Marquee.
only. Man, I would only go to the. I'm like, yo, I'm about to go. I just want the chicken. I ain't
Right.
trying to stay up in y'all club. I am only in town for a night. I want my chicken, and let me go about my business.
You going
So
next week?
yeah,
Okay. Okay.
yeah, I'm going next. Oh,
I
I ain't never
haven't
been.
been in
I ain't been
2
excited to go
years.
there in a long time. Exactly. It's almost two,
Yeah.
but yeah,
Well, good luck
I
with that.
I know. Pray for me. Actually, I'm gonna be fine. I'm gonna be, in the county.
Okay.
I have a setup out there. I'm gonna be cool.
Should have set up. Okay.
Yeah, no. My people going out of town, so I'm house sitting. So
Okay.
I really like I haven't been on vacation for real since last February, and I'm going crazy. And I know that
Okay.
but if my friend wasn't getting married, I probably would not go to St. Louis, to
Right.
be honest.
Right.
But that's just the way I'm like, okay, I can have peace and quiet here. It's nobody else here. If I want to go lay out in the sun for a little bit, I can, and that's it.
I feel it.
So
I feel it.
yeah, yeah,
I feel it. I feel it. I like it.
yeah.
I like it.
So wait, super quick before we get out here, you're not from St. Louis.
No,
You spent that period of time in St. Louis.
yeah. I was born up in the Bay in
Oh,
Fremont.
okay, okay,
So I was
okay,
up there till like 10. I was like 10.
okay, okay,
And my pop's job and my mom's job, they transferred from TWA and AT&T from up north to St. Louis.
okay. So that's how you
So
ended up
so
there.
then I spent then I was so I mean I was out there. I never in St. Louis, especially those diehard ones, I just never felt St. Louis. It was just for me it was always like a stopping place. It was never like it never felt like home to me.
So what high
Uh,
school did you go to?
I went to North County Christian in right off North
That's why.
Hollywood.
That's why.
Uh,
That's why.
and my family not from there either. So I never. All my family's in Cali and Florida, so I just never
Okay.
had that. You know what I mean?
Connection. Yeah.
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 I had homies, of course, cool homies, but having that like real family and um pulling up on your cousins whenever I wanted, I didn't have that. So I felt that in
Oh,
Florida and Cali, but not really out here, out
oh,
there.
oh, that's
But yeah,
unfortunate. It took me to move to kind of appreciate St. Louis a little more. And I was explaining to my homeboy yesterday, I was like, hey, it's weird how everything that I've ever encountered in my life is some way connected to St. Louis. It is
really.
weird. Really, really, it is like crazy.
I think St. Louis, that someone needs to do a documentary on St. Louis. I think it's a
Let's put
very,
it together. We can do that shit.
very, very interesting, um, not talked about whether it's good or bad city. Like
Yeah.
there's a lot of history, of course, a lot of history, a lot of history.
Yeah. The other day, it was like on, how they do like, oh, on this day and such and
Mhm.
such. So the other day there was like some treaty that was signed on that day by William Clark, and that was like these Native Americans like um
Lewis
signing
and
over.
Clark.
No, well, no, it wasn't nothing to do with the expedition, but he was just like an explorer. And so there was this treaty that was put in place where pretty much the Indian tribes in the area, and I think at that moment it was like Osage,
Okay.
had signed over the rights to their lands and all that stuff. They turned it over to him. Like,
Okay.
yeah. So that was
Hmm.
one of the things that happened. And people don't talk even about, we always talk about the Lewis and Clark expedition leaving St. Louis,
Migrating.
coming
Yeah.
out, yeah, coming west. But nobody talks about how they, I think it was one of them had raped like Sacagawea, like she was like the help
Yeah.
that was guiding them.
Yeah.
We don't
Yep.
talk about that, how they gave her syphilis
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
having to
Yeah.
take mercury. And then
Yeah.
even now, like somebody did a really dope documentary on the projects in St. Louis, like Pruitt Igoe.
Really?
Oh my gosh, the Pruitt Igo. I'm going to send it to you.
The what?
Because yeah, it's Pruitt Igo was these projects. Um, and I guess technically it would be the north side, but they were on Jefferson and like Martin Luther King. And it was this
Okay.
housing project that they had built. Of course, they glamorized it. It ended up being a shit show. And so
Mm,
you had people that grew up in the Pruitt Igo, like talking about, their experience living there.
mm,
They, just how you talked about Agent Orange, how they sprayed the forest. They
mm.
remember like planes coming over, kind of doing like chemtrails,
Oh wow.
things like that. Oh, it was so good because where
Damn.
where it is now, Gateway Middle and like Pruitt Middle School are on like part of that grounds, but it's this huge, it's still
Oh,
vacant
so
because
it's
when
over
we
there.
yeah, so when we were, yeah, because when I went to middle school over there, I remember we had like issues with like rats and shit, like
With
just
rats?
because of that vacant, how huge that lot was and how
Damn.
vacant it was. Yeah,
Damn.
yeah,
Yeah, I didn't know nothing about that.
yeah. So that, and even talking to, just we talk about the Delmar divide, how
Hmm.
on one part of Delmar, it is these, historic homes like mansions and all that stuff, and then you have the other
Hmm.
side, like that's the west side where I grew up,
Trash.
and it's the ghetto,
I haven't
you
I
know
haven't been there in a minute.
yeah, like
I haven't been downtown in a minute.
it's so dope, and but we have so much like rich history that comes out of it that's like great, like Tina Turner, Jennifer
Yep.
Lewis.
Yep.
So yeah, it'll
A
be
lot.
interesting to see.
What's funny, I was just listening to Michael McDonald this morning. You know, the old white dude that got some soul.
I cannot stand Michael McDonald, but that's a conversation for another day.
So I was like, where's this nigga from? This was like 6 a.m. today. And I just found out he's from St. Louis.
On
Yeah, exactly.
my
That's
own.
what I
That's
was
the one
listening to.
song.
Because I kept singing it in bed, and I was like, let me just go ahead and play it. I don't know where it came from.
As I
And
played
then,
Tony Braxton this morning. That's hilarious.
yeah, so yeah, I found out he's Michael McDonald, Eminem.
Yeah,
A lot
he
of cool people from St. Louis. But
is.
yeah, it's definitely an interesting, and I'm not the biggest fan of it for a lot of reasons, but I will say St. Louis definitely um, if you were privileged to just kind of bop around, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like that with anything. If you could bop around, meaning you have friends that are white, friends in the county, friends in the city, that are all this different things. I feel like if you're privileged to kind of do that, whether it's St. Louis or anywhere, you can kind of adapt
Yeah.
to a lot of different shit just growing up in life.
Yeah, no, that is absolutely true.
But yeah, St. Louis is an interesting place.
Yeah, it really is. I like I said, it took me to leave to really get it. And it shouldn't have to be like that, but like you said, like being able to be kind of multifaceted in different
Mm-hmm.
groups and knowing how to kind of be a chameleon and
Yep.
take on different, it definitely has helped me out here on so many
Oh yeah.
levels. So
I will say it gives you PTSD too.
oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
When I first came out to Hollywood, I was very mean mugging. Who's this nigga? That
Really?
like why like it was weird to me. Like guy will step on my foot and buy me a drink. Like I was like, wait, what? Like you don't want to like fight?
Fight.
Like there was like even to this day, I probably saw maybe 2 fights. Like if that. I don't even like I don't even really remember. I'm just guessing. But
Out
it's just
here or back there?
in St. Louis. I mean
Oh,
here.
oh yeah.
But like back home, like it was just like fighting, girls fighting, guys fighting, and like brutal fights. They weren't
Yeah.
like I've seen some shit. And like out here is like as much as people, you know, and that's a whole nother story too. I never understood the gangs out here and all that. That's a whole nother. I got one of my Crip homies mad about that. But I was like, nigga, like you have palm trees in your hood, like
y'all have
bad bitches and
grass.
weed,
Y'all have
and like
grass. Y'all don't have vacant
it's like 20
houses.
minutes away. Like, what do you? Why are we killing each other? Like,
And nigga, if you don't go swimming,
right? Like, go swimming, man. Go roll you some weed, man.
yeah,
So
no, that is I like you said out here. I'm gonna be honest. The only time I have seen a fight happen, and this is not gonna shock you, it was always the game crew getting into it with somebody. And if I saw that nigga like, oh, all the time, oh, the only fights that I at Tao.
Yeah.
See, that's the only time. It was one time we were at Colony, and it looked like, you know, on like the cartoons when people start getting into like a tussle fight, and it's like smoke, like a ball of like smoke. It was like a ball of niggas like tumbling and fighting, just going at it, and it was coming toward us. Huh?
I said sounds about right.
Yeah, and I was just like, okay, so now we know, because this is like the 5th time. If this nigga walk up in here, it's time to hit another spot, because this is just what comes with it, and it's just like, no, it's not fun. But St. Louis, man.
Yeah, St. Louis, they don't care what color you wearing.
They don't care. Somebody makes the crowd.
Mason, I've
shooting,
been shot at, all type of shit. There's all like fights and banned from White Castle and all type of shit.
Yeah, all type of wild shit, man.
So
what
when
a
you
time.
come out here, it's just like, this shit's nothing.
Yeah, it's a different level of.
Yeah, it's really unfortunate too, to be honest.
Yeah, it really is. And so I'm just like, yo, like, and I hear stories. I was just saying, I'm like, I'm gonna have to deactivate my Facebook, because just the tragedies that were happening that weren't even COVID related. And I'm like, oh.
Yeah. Facebook is also an interesting place. It's like a whole different world. It's a whole different world.
Yeah, Facebook, but I'll never get rid of Twitter. I think Twitter.
I can't remember. I haven't been on Twitter in like 4 or 5 years. I forgot my login and I just gave up.
No,
but Twitter, I used to love Twitter. I used to talk my shit.
Yeah, if there was some way that they could integrate, and I guess, yeah, but honestly, I like Twitter. Like, it's interesting hearing people's hot takes on shit. Now they have like Twitter Spaces, kind of similar like Clubhouse. So so they integrated. So they have fleets, which I don't know why they call. So they try to do like Twitter stories, like how it is on IG, but they call them fleets. So I don't know why they just didn't call those, maybe because birds, they tweet, but they chirp. I don't know. But people were not using it like how they wanted people to like engage and use them. So they literally, it lasted a summer and they just got rid of it. But they have these Twitter Spaces. And it has been like some dope conversations that have happened, and depending on like who's following you, and you know, and then people send up and people come in, and you just have really interesting like conversations. So that has been fun. It hasn't been as reckless as Clubhouse, because I haven't been on Clubhouse since
I never jumped on Clubhouse.
Yeah,
I think maybe once.
I was over it really fast.
Yeah,
when they had that moan room. It was a moan room, and
moan.
Yeah, so it was like a room of moaning, or
wait,
like,
what?
Yes,
a room of moaning.
So you would get on the stage and you would moan, like as if you could be performing fellatio, or you know, having yes. So they were like on Clubhouse. So it would be Clubhouse After Dark, kind of how they have Twitter After Dark, where it gets kind of like ratchet. And then there was like another room I was in, and they were like, going through these interviews, trying to see if they was gonna fly like these girls out to this cabin
Mm-hmm.
and you know, Breckenridge. It's just like it was
Oh,
so much going on.
okay.
I remember and I'll tell you the name when we end, but this guy is in there when we're all in the room, we're all talking on the stage, and then he was like, has anybody had anybody like eat they ass? Like what was that like? And he was like,
Mm-hmm.
because I've never had it, but I'm kind of like inquiring, and I'm like, well, that's like, and he's like, or put your finger. And I was like, well, then in that case, I was like, let somebody peg you. And he was like, well, what's pegging? And so everybody like busts out laughing. And I'm like, so this is what it means. This is what you do when
All right.
you. And so he was like, oh no, I said, that's not gay. That's just like, if you're doing that with a woman and you have a
Hmm.
G spot, that's just what it is.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say it's gay, but I definitely don't want to be pegged.
Dog, you'd be surprised. It's low key hella niggas out
Oh,
here
I know. Oh, I
that
already know.
love that shit.
I,
And
oh,
if y'all love it, slide
I,
into my DMs.
I
Let's
know
make
they
it
do.
happen.
I know they do. I know they do. Young peggers. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. So
Interesting.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. That's
Huh.
all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. It's
Okay. So
lucky.
Twitter has peggers. Guy
Twitter
that wants
has
to get pegged.
peggers. Twitter has a
Everything.
lot of everything, and I think it's just always interesting to see just social media in general and how it has evolved. I think right
Mm-hmm.
now we're at this crazy point where I'm like, fuck, this shit has given a lot of idiots a platform
Mm-hmm.
to spread false information, because we know niggas don't like to read, like whether you
Mm-hmm.
white, black, brown, yellow, purple.
Mm-hmm.
And they just go with it. So I feel like
Yep.
there's a lot of misinformation out there. So I think that one of the things that I really learned um, being a communications major is how to navigate social media where
Yeah.
it's not detrimental.
Honestly, it's pretty easy.
You would
I mean,
think it
it's
would be, but
easy. It's easy depending on what you want to do or what you want to use it for.
yeah.
Like, I can crack jokes all day, but then interact with CEOs or dispensaries or whatever the case may be at the same time, or look at memes all day or look at crates all day. Like you can literally
I don't
you
want to see
literally do whatever you
another
want to do.
fucking crate. I don't need to see another crate.
That's I don't really get how that kind of blew up, but
Nigga shit.
it
Like
just
niggas just nigging, okay? Like that's how
yeah,
it blew up,
it's
okay?
not really that like that's I mean been doing that.
I'm over it. I don't need no more crates. And I'm just like, okay, is this week over? Because I feel like you be giving y'all a week. Next
Right?
week, this shit better not be
It's gonna
happening
be
still.
something else. Wait. Speaking of false information, what's your thoughts on the vax?
Uh,
Are you pro or con?
I'm pro vaccination.
Okay.
Because we've had outbreaks throughout history, and we know vaccines have stopped a lot of things from happening. But I also think that people act like I just literally said this. People are like, oh, I haven't seen a vaccine come out this fast.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what the last vaccine, like big vaccine was.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe for chickenpox, who fucking knows?
Mm-hmm.
But with time comes advancements.
Mm-hmm.
So things that normally might take a little longer to, if you think about back in the day when polio happened and rubella and all of this stuff, the plague. And I think that people forget that with time we can make advancements. So where things happen where it might have taken 4 years for a vaccine to come out, it's 2021.
Right.
We have the information, we have the science to make things come out quicker. Not only that, science has backed how your body can fight off this terrible virus.
Right.
So I think I'm not a person that's like, you're stupid if you don't do it. You know, everybody has a choice. You can do what you want. It's not my business. I'm just gonna let natural selection handle what it's doing, because it's doing it.
Right. Right.
So I think that if you're going to not be vaccinated, if you're not going to take that extra step to protect yourself, your family, whatever, don't force people to be in situations and positions where they're uncomfortable, where their children are not protected. I think it's bizarre that we have schools open still, and we're knowing that there has been a huge spike in these numbers. So I think that's the biggest thing. And it's just like, okay, if you got a problem with it, go do you, boo, but wear a fucking mask. Put a mask on. But now a mask is infringed upon your fucking rights. But these motherfuckers infringe upon our black ass rights every goddamn day.
Right.
Every day. So why is this? It's just bizarre to me. Even when I hear, and I understand black people and brown people are like, well, you know, the government has a history of doing, yes, that is true. But this is a global pandemic. Nobody's trying to chip us. We're already chipped. It's called a phone. Even if you turn this phone off, it still can pick it up and they can hear you. Because I know whoever my big brother is, that motherfucker is in love with me. Every time I'm on FaceTime, you can see it. It's like somebody screenshot me.
Oh, wow.
Or whatever. And I'm like, did anybody see that? And they was like, yeah, what the fuck was that? I was like, man, let me tell you. Damn. They probably see me when I'm watching porn, all this stuff, making face, whatever. Don't care. Now you want to come pay some bills over here?
Right.
I might let you come through the line, you know. But I don't think it's fair that that anti-vaxxers are shaming people. And I think that people that are vaccinated, I don't think we're shaming people for not being vaccinated. We understand that's your choice. But it's just like, come on, man,
to the point
put a mask
where
on.
It's not really choices at this point.
I'm with you.
We're like tiptoeing on that little, and that's the part that I can't rock with.
Yeah.
I can't rock with there's no choice.
So you think there's no choice?
Well, I mean, it's getting there. It's really just about there. Like for me, example, like I wouldn't say I'm an anti-vaxxer. I'm anti-vax for Brandon. Like, I'm come from a health background. I was a trainer for 10 years, blah, blah, blah. Like I legit know my body. Like I never get sick. I don't remember last time I had a cold. So I know my shit. Other people who have different whatever symptoms, issues, sure. Like if your immune is trash, you probably should.
Yeah.
If you have a history of bullshit, yeah, you probably should. But someone who's healthy, it doesn't make sense to me for me to put that into my body just in case. So like it doesn't. So that's kind of where.
So when you go to countries that require vaccinations, like they're parts of like China, parts of Africa. So do you just opt out of not going to those places, or?
I'm not pressed. Is there $1 billion check over there? Like what like I'm not.
No,
pressed.
if you're going like to visit. So like I know, like if you go like to Nigeria, you have to get a vaccine for what was that outbreak that they had?
Smallpox?
No, it wasn't smallpox. It was something else, whatever it is, but you have to get like a vaccine to go. So do you miss out on this opportunity to explore new world, new territories for you, or is it just like, because like a lot of their stuff is like those vaccines have been around longer? I
guess for me is I don't feel like I'm missing out on anything. Like I've traveled heavily. Like even if I died tomorrow, like I've legit lived a ridiculous ass life. So for me to
That's
not
cool. So
go,
put me on your wheel. Pass all of
I
that to
mean,
me.
I
I'll
don't
make
know. I
sure
just
the company lives on.
I don't see. I mean, I look at anything with the ROI. Like I've been
Okay.
healthy for 40 years, right? If it's not broke,
Nigga, you
why
40, you look like you 32.
I'll be 40 in March.
Oh shit, where we going? Turn up if the world is
I don't know.
open.
I'm still trying to figure it out, to be
I'm
honest.
gonna be 35, so
Still trying
in
to figure it out.
February.
But see, that's
Um,
my point. Like, see,
but
I
here's the
take
difference.
care of myself
But here's the
to
difference
where you
though.
think I'm 32.
No, okay, black don't crack either. But I think
No,
the
I've
issue,
seen some cracks black.
I've seen some black crack, but they've been crackheads.
Yeah.
So, but I think that the issue is that you know, in exploring and going to different countries, we know that our country does rely heavily on pharmaceuticals, you know, but a lot of people don't want to change their lifestyles. Whereas Eastern cultures, like they live a more holistic lifestyle, you know,
Well,
like people.
that's where, and that's the other. I didn't mean to cut you off, but that's the other part of this whole situation that just logically doesn't make sense. Like I personally know at least maybe 10, I think maybe more people that were vaccinated that are dead. Um, and so it's like, so these people did what you were supposed to do, quote unquote, but now they're dead.
So are they dead
Family can't.
because
Well,
okay, so
they're calling it, well, that's the other thing. Any death and you've had COVID or you've had COVID recently, they're automatically blaming it on COVID. So really,
yeah, so but okay, so my question to you is this.
Mhm.
So were these vaccinated people, did they contract COVID prior or after, or do you think they just had some sort of reaction?
Well, that's the thing. It's everybody's case is probably different,
Different, yeah.
but they've all had COVID. They were all vaccinated. Um, and these are people that I like for real know. So it's like, I can't, and two of them I know for a fact were extremely healthy. Like, well, I mean, I don't know their insides, but they were eating. They've been like the health nuts for forever. So it's like, again, what's the ROI? Like, what's the why would I inject myself if I've been healthy for 40 years?
Yeah, so but when you go out, are you taking extra precautions? Like I feel like if I see you,
I wear masks. I wear masks.
yes, but I
Wherever.
also, like I said, like I watch your stories. I don't see you in heavily like populated areas where it's like a club.
Well, yeah,
It's
I don't
no
really
like,
go to clubs, but
yeah,
I've legit been, I've not stopped traveling. Like I said, I go to Colorado every 4 to 6 weeks. So I'm in big ass airports. I'm in airplanes. I'm
yeah,
in meetings. I'm at dinner meetings.
yeah. But
So
you
I'm,
taking I think that the issue here is the difference is this. You're not out here shaming people. You're not making people feel bad for doing what they want to do and whatever they feel like they. So and that's the thing. It's just like we don't know. We probably won't know for another, you know, like 10 years and shit is gonna happen to people. People are going to react to the vaccine.
of course.
Yeah, so I mean, because people react to vaccines, you know, the percentage is small, but like just in general, like the, you know, your shots when you have kids, you know, there's this huge controversy if that causes autism
Which I
and
don't
different
rock with.
things.
I don't rock with that either.
Look, so thank you. I got another show that I gotta record though. I'm like, but no, but to each their own. But
Yeah, like,
you're not out here, and I'm
I,
not gonna shame you. I'm just like, okay, so when it comes,
I think for me is
so
just
you
for
don't want
me.
to have kids. So when your kids go to
I have a
school,
daughter.
you do.
Yeah, she's 2.5. Yeah,
You live in a whole ass double life. I didn't even know that.
yeah. It's personal. I don't put personal business on out there like
Nigga,
that.
your weed has been in my veins. That's
That doesn't mean
personal. That's
that's business.
personal.
That's business. That's business.
It intercepted my soul. Nigga, that's personal. Well, so okay, so when time comes for her to go to school, and they say that she has to have a vaccine record, like she has to in order to attend.
Well, that's why. Well, that's why she's in Colorado with her mom, because you don't have to do that in Colorado.
Okay.
And in Cali, you do, and of course, the goal is to get them both back out here. But and this is a whole nother.
Well, I even have time for that.
A whole nother topic, but the differences that I've seen in my daughter and other people's kids are not even, like, night and day is not even the right word. Like, it's like these kids, like, I don't know how else to say it. These kids are fucking retarded compared to my daughter.
You can't say the R word, B. You mean they? But no, here's the thing. Okay, so I will tell you this. I will tell you this.
And again,
do you think that's vaccine related, or is the parents not? I don't think it's that.
Like, seeing it from an early age, and me having these talks and knowing this and knowing that, and there's probably, when I had my daughter, I had 5 other homies that had kids either a week or 2 before or after, and the very beginning of everything, because I'm very observant. Like, I'm not just talking on my ass. Like, I see it. Like, I see how alert. Like, she eats amazing. She doesn't eat no fast food. Everything.
But that's a part of lifestyle. When I tell you I understand what you're saying.
Also, vaccination.
No, oh my God, you a hotep nigga, ain't you? You a hotep.
No, I just
no, I'm just messing. But that's, I will tell you this, my experience from.
And I think, and not to cut you off, I think if you're a person and you need whatever this is, get it. But if you're a person that doesn't need it, it shouldn't have to be mandatory, no matter what it is, whether it's a vac for COVID or kid shit. Like, again, she's never been sick. She hasn't been sick.
I think a lot of things come with, when it comes to children in general, I've seen both ends of the spectrum. My mom is a juvenile attorney. My sister and we went to Montessori schools. So it's a different learning technique. And having parents that are very present and hands-on in our upbringing, our educational level, our diets, all of that. So it's different. So for us, that's just how it is. Like, so even with my niece and nephew, my nephew is vaccinated. He just turned 8 months. He is walking. He pretty much he recognizes certain things. Like, we just have, like, I can call and he'll come running to the phone now, because he recognizes and identifies my voice. My niece, I just got the memory today. She was like 2.5. She was at my house, and I was like, "How'd you get the scratch on your head?" And she created this entire story based on the dream that happened, and she woke up with this scar. So that's what I think it has to do with. I think where we still owe a lot to our kids is, if you want to get vaxxed, great. If not, but I think a lot of people rely heavily on society to raise their children, and that's not our job. I think you have to be hands-on with your kids. And they were even saying, like, with a lot of the kids that were born during COVID, how advanced they are, because people were at home actually engaging with their children. And so I don't think that it's fair to say that, oh, these kids are not as advanced as my child because of a vaccine. Everybody thinks their kid is brilliant. And so I understand.
I don't. I
know you don't think that everybody can, because there's your kid.
But it took me a minute, because I've always been the guy. I don't care, like, if it's my mom or dad. Like, if you're wrong, if you're dumb, if you're cute, if you like, it doesn't matter. If my kid was dumb, I'd be like, yo, like, she's not the smartest. Like, I don't give a shit. I get shit about me that I'm honest about too. But when I
That's
physically
me.
see certain things, and again, that's why I'm so big on it, because yes, everything is about lifestyle. Yes, she
Yeah,
eats amazing. That's why she's not sick. I don't eat the best, but I eat better than the average person. That's
yeah,
probably why I'm not sick. Probably, I don't
yeah,
know. But again, like everything is lifestyle. Everything
yeah.
is
Everything
so yeah.
resorts back to that.
If your kid is, and I have homies kids who
Excuse
eat
me.
McDonald's every day, and that's
Gross.
probably why your son is slow, bro.
Yeah,
Like
but people.
there's no
That's a
but.
we no. Oh
That
no
is
no no
what it
no.
is.
That's no buts. That I was just that's a whole
But it
nother
is like when
podcast. But that's a whole nother episode where we
that's a whole
talking about
nother,
like
yeah,
upbringing,
that's a whole nother,
lifestyle,
yeah.
and that's a conversation because we think about you got to think in America, unfortunately, a lot of that shit access.
It's
So
and a lot of it is
which is
also
shitty.
a lot of it, and this is a whole nother way to another lane is tradition. We have
Mm-hmm.
shitty traditions.
Yeah.
Like my parents, like they're from the South, like the real
Yeah.
South, Florida. They're from Florida, not Miami and South Beach. They're from like little bullshit ass Lottie,
Yeah.
Florida, Rockledge, Florida. So all those traditions was passed to me, but at the same time, we got to a certain point where it was like, I was looking at my uncles and aunts, and it was no disrespect. I don't want
I
to
want
look
to
like
live
that.
like that. Yeah.
And
And I
so,
think but that's when you know better and you take the time, you understand and you want to do better because we have, you know, a lot of family members that developed a lot of things just based on those terrible habits, eating
but
habits. And so
majority, yeah,
and I remember like at Thanksgiving, I'm like, why y'all still eating chitlins? It's not
yeah,
a
like,
delicacy. I'm like,
yeah,
we're not poor anymore. Like I
I say it all the
understand
time.
why. And that's no
Yeah.
knock to people,
But it should be though. At a
but
certain
it
point,
and
like
I'm not
at a certain point, like that should like you should be offended. Like, bro, we're not
yeah.
slaves anymore.
Yeah,
We're not to eat this.
I there are just certain things, but I'm not gonna lie. I do enjoy a barbecue hot dog, a real burnt one.
Yeah, again, like
Yeah.
indulging is one thing, but eating, like growing up was like Thanksgiving for me every day.
Fuck.
Every day. Like every day it was like mac and cheese and heavy this and heavy that. And so indulging is cool, but when that shit turns into a lifestyle,
Yeah.
and then now you're crying at 40, like yeah, your ass probably do need the vaccine because you've been eating like
All right.
that immune
All
system is
right.
low. That immune is low. And at 40, you probably need the shot.
Oh my God. No, I where can I find you on social media? Because I'm gonna have to bring you back because this was a good this went
What am
we
I
went from being high about to can you land the plane? And I'm like, and now it's like, man, I don't really know.
My IG is BEEDEMPS.
Okay.
What is it? No, at BDEMPS.
Okay.
Like the insect.
Okay. And then can we follow where's the brand? Where's All Day Ace?
All Day Ace. What is the website? Shoot, I forgot the website. It's probably all day. I think it's alldayace.co. I
Okay.
think.
I'll
But
whatever it
that's
is, I'll find it and then I'll put it in the bio too so they can
yeah. We have the IG, the clothing, the weed, and the music label. All I guess send that
Oh,
to you.
I just saw like a music label. Okay.
Yeah.
So wow, okay. That's dope. See, we didn't even get that far.
Yeah.
Okay, we
A lot
have
of
to
action.
yeah, we gonna have to spin the block on you and
Spin it one more time.
have you come back. But it is alldayace.co.
We got to do a smoke sesh. We can all be in one room and
Oh,
just
that would be so
vibe
much fun.
together.
You
And
got an extra. I'm gonna need to stay tonight. I'm gonna need to stay
that's
tonight.
cool. We can
I'm
do
just
it.
telling
We
you
can make
now
it
because you
happen.
live far.
Ah,
Nigga, you live far.
I live 30 minutes from downtown. Actually, 28 minutes, to be honest. We're being honest.
So I live 7 minutes from downtown.
Oh, okay. Where you at? Like Silver Lake?
Eagle Rock. So not far from
Okay.
Silver Lake. It's
Oh,
like
okay.
right
Yeah,
there. Yeah, it's right here.
Okay.
But
Okay.
yeah, that's it, y'all. Don't forget, support the candles. Sell me out again.
Buy the
Saint,
candles. I need to
yes,
buy some actually.
you do.
Yes.
Saint-angelus.com and /candles. Yeah, man, I'm gonna take some up to the restaurant, Kay's restaurant.
Yes.
And I'm like, hey, put these in the bathroom and then see how they burn.
Yes.
So
yes.
that's all. I'm, just thinking ahead.
Absolutely.
So don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Share the podcast with everybody, because we're trying to do these numbers so we can get some endorsements and shit, get some sponsorship. Hey. So that's all I got for y'all this week. See y'all next week.
Peace out. Peace out.